In life, we often easily pay attention to those who speak a lot, the noisy ones, or those who can capture attention with sharp words. But in reality, the most dangerous person in a room is not the loud ones, but the silent ones, those who have been pushed to the ultimate silence, where they do not need to speak to assert their power. They understand well that sometimes silence is the most powerful weapon, and it is within that silence that they hide invisible power that no one can anticipate. So why is that? Clarity, sharp observations about the world around us, is a double-edged sword. It can both reveal great truths and confront us with loneliness. The clearer you see, the more you notice the weaknesses of society, the mistakes that others intentionally avoid, and the illusions they have built to protect their egos. And because of this, the world punishes the truth as it invades the false facades people have constructed over the years. Schopenhauer, the renowned philosopher, viewed intelligence not as a gift, but as a burden. The clearer and deeper your intelligence, the more it forces you to face reactions from the weak. When you point out their mistakes, they will never forget it, and your truth will feel like a direct attack on their beliefs. And the price to pay for this clarity is loneliness, living in a world where intelligence is not honored, but instead punished because it threatens the strong illusions others have built. So, is silence truly a tool of power in this world? Is holding back your excellence in silence the best strategy to protect yourself and maintain your position? And can we learn the art of silence to become individuals who cannot be controlled, those who can disappear into the shadows and still retain their power? These are the questions we will explore together in today's video. The power of the one who knows how to be silent, vanishing to hold power. In modern society, displaying excellence is not always a good thing. On the contrary, overly showcasing it can sometimes be a wrong strategy, especially when you live in a world full of deceit and complexity. When you stand out too much, when you shine too brightly, you may easily be labeled as arrogant, complicated, or even as someone who is overdoing it. And this can make you a target for those who feel threatened by your excellence. Other people's egos often react strongly to what goes beyond their limits. They cannot accept the superiority of others because it touches their self-esteem and sense of security. Therefore, overexpressing yourself will confront you with reactions from those with big egos, people who cannot bear the success of others without feeling a sense of loss. Instead of honoring and learning from your excellence, they will find ways to push you out or bring you down to a level they can accept. To avoid these troubles, the best strategy is not to showcase everything, but to know when to remain silent and keep your excellence in the shadows. Silence does not mean a lack of ability, but it is a strategy to protect yourself and maintain your position in a world full of deceit and harm. When you know when to remain silent, when to separate yourself from meaningless struggles, you will not only protect yourself, but also maintain your power without having to face resistance or threats from the outside. Those who understand the power of silence realize that in a social environment where everyone wants to hide their true nature behind facades, knowing when to disappear can be the best way to maintain your position and protect your existence. In fact, they understand that in this contradictory world, sometimes avoiding attention and not engaging in the argument is the best strategy to avoid being destroyed, to avoid getting caught up in pointless battles that only make you more tired and hurt. Therefore, instead of appearing loudly, those who understand the power of silence know they do not need to prove anything to others. They know how to maintain their excellence in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to emerge and act. When they do appear, everything is perfectly prepared, and they will never have to face resistance or threats from others. According to Schopenhauer, excellence should not be overtly flaunted. In fact, he believed the smartest strategy was to conceal one's excellence rather than trying to display it in front of others. In Schopenhauer's view, truly intelligent individuals do not need to highlight their talents. They understand that boasting not only brings no benefits, but can also make them targets for the weak or those who feel threatened by their excellence. Displaying talent clearly and excessively can lead to being judged as arrogant, even provoking envy from those around you. This not only diminishes your value in their eyes, but can also put you in dangerous situations where your excellence will be challenged or devalued. Therefore, Schopenhauer encourages us to keep our excellence under a simple, unnoticeable layer, as this is the way to survive sustainably in a world full of deceit and contradictions. The key to this strategy lies in strategic humility. When you act humbly, not showing arrogance, even though you know you have exceptional talent, you will not easily be disrespected or hurt by others. Intelligent people do not seek recognition or praise from society. They understand that such recognition is temporary and sometimes even fake. Truly intelligent and talented people can easily master situations that others find confusing or complicated without needing to show it outwardly. They act as silent observers, not needing to participate in the game of boasting or struggling for attention. In reality, true geniuses rarely participate loudly in social life. They do not need to prove their worth with words or noisy actions. Instead, they choose to observe, gather information, and wait for the right moment to display their excellence. This does not mean they lack ambition or talent. It simply means they understand that their excellence is a powerful weapon that needs to be used at the right time and place. In a society where people are easily caught up in self-promotion to assert their value, truly intelligent individuals understand that they do not need to rush. Silence and strategic humility allow them to maintain their position without facing attacks or negative reactions from others. These people do not seek recognition. They seek understanding and control. Therefore, while others chase after the dazzling light, they remain in the shadows, subtly observing and waiting for the right moment to reveal their true nature. Silence, in the eyes of those with strategic intelligence, is not weakness or lack of strength. It is a powerful weapon that helps them control themselves and every situation around them. For those with inner strength, silence is not concealment, but a refined strategy to maintain power without needing to display it. When you do not react immediately, you not only protect your emotions and energy, but can also skillfully control every situation from the shadows where no attention can reach. Silence, when executed at the right time and in the right way, becomes the highest expression of inner strength. It is when you no longer feel the need to react to every situation or provocation from the outside, and you can stand firm in silence, unaffected by spontaneous emotions. This silence shows absolute self-control, maturity, and wisdom, as you understand that reacting is not always the best outcome. An intelligent person understands that not every situation requires an immediate verbal response or emotional display. Sometimes, absence in a debate, silence when everyone expects a reaction, is the strongest answer. Silence is a way to avoid getting caught up in meaningless confrontations and a sign of independence and inner strength. When you do not react, you show that you are not influenced by external factors and conserve your energy for more important situations. This does not mean you will always remain silent, but that you know when to stay silent in order to maintain control. Those who understand the power of silence know that when they do not react, they not only protect themselves, but also control every situation from the shadows. While everyone around might be arguing and tormenting each other, the one who knows how to remain silent keeps the upper hand, observing and understanding what is happening without having to engage in the noise. In a society where people are easily caught up in self-promotion to assert their value, truly intelligent individuals understand that they do not need to rush. Silence and strategic humility allow them to maintain their position without facing attacks or negative reactions from others. These individuals do not seek recognition. They seek understanding and control. Therefore, while others chase after the dazzling light, they remain in the shadows, subtly observing and waiting for the right moment to reveal their true nature. Silence, in the eyes of those with strategic intelligence, is not weakness or lack of strength. It is a powerful weapon that helps them control themselves and every situation around them. For those with inner strength, silence is not concealment, but a refined strategy to maintain power without needing to display it. When you do not react immediately, you not only protect your emotions and energy, but can also skillfully control every situation from the shadows where no attention can reach. Silence, when executed at the right moment and in the right way, becomes the highest expression of inner strength. It is when you no longer feel the need to react to every situation or provocation from the outside, and you can stand firm in silence, unaffected by spontaneous emotions. This silence demonstrates absolute self-control, maturity, and wisdom, as you understand that reacting is not always the best outcome. An intelligent person understands that not every situation requires an immediate verbal response or emotional display. Sometimes, absence in a debate, silence when everyone expects a reaction, is the strongest answer. Silence is a way to avoid getting caught up in meaningless confrontations and a sign of independence and inner strength. When you do not react, you show that you are not influenced by external factors and conserve your energy for more important situations. This does not mean you will always remain silent, but that you know when to stay silent in order to maintain control. Those who understand the power of silence know that when they do not react, they not only protect themselves, but also control every situation from the shadows. While everyone around might be arguing and tormenting each other, the one who knows how to remain silent keeps the upper hand, observing and understanding what is happening without having to engage in the noise. In fact, silence is a powerful tool to create influence without needing to display it outwardly. When you are silent, you maintain your respect, not getting caught up in the troubles or provocations of others. You do not need to always speak up to prove yourself, and sometimes silence is the best way to show that you do not need anyone's approval. It is within that silence that you create space for others to realize the potential strength within you, and they will never know when you will step forward to reveal your true power. Silence, when used strategically, is not a display of weakness or lack of reaction ability. It is a tool of power that helps you maintain the upper hand without having to showcase your strength. In the eyes of those who do not understand this silence, you might be underestimated or disrespected. But at that moment, you are creating a big opportunity to learn and grasp your opponent's weaknesses. Silence is when you temporarily withdraw from the spotlight and observe everything from a safe distance, while others remain unaware that they are misjudging you. When you choose silence, you not only protect yourself from unnecessary situations, but also gain the opportunity to study and analyze your opponent carefully. Every time you are underestimated, it is the moment when you can see your opponent more clearly. They will naturally expose weaknesses that, if you had reacted or intervened in the debate, you might never have noticed. Silence makes the opponent feel complacent, and in that complacency, they will make mistakes, revealing their weaknesses that you can exploit when the time comes. That is why intelligent people understand the value of silence. They know that in silence, they not only protect themselves, but can also control every situation without needing to reveal themselves. Silence is a smart strategy that helps you conserve your energy and power while creating an opportunity to study and observe your opponents without them noticing. Intelligent people use silence as part of their long-term strategic plan, allowing them to master the situation without getting involved in unnecessary struggles. Especially when others underestimate you, they will never know that you are controlling the game from behind the scenes. You do not need to show your power immediately. Instead, you remain silent, waiting and calculating each move. Every underestimation is a strategic gift because it gives you the chance to understand those around you and discover their weaknesses. While they think you're insignificant, you are quietly preparing for decisive moves when the right moment comes. Therefore, silence is not submission or concession, but the highest form of strategic wisdom. You know when to remain silent, when to step back, and when to show your power. Your silence is a powerful strategic tool that allows you to control the game without boasting or appearing. Sometimes, it is the underestimation of others that provides the best opportunity for you to gain the upper hand in a challenging battle of wits. True genius, from a profound perspective, does not need to flaunt its intellect or talent. These individuals, despite having exceptional abilities and sharp intelligence, do not seek attention or recognition from others. They do not need to speak up to prove their worth. Instead, they allow the world to naturally recognize their talents without having to do anything excessively flashy or showy. This is the major difference between true geniuses and those who only seek fame. These geniuses act as observers, always listening and gathering data from the world around them. They do not rush to participate in every debate or join the chaos of the world. Instead, they focus on maintaining their position, not letting themselves be distracted by external factors that could divert their focus or long-term goals. It is within this silence and observation that they understand that holding their position and controlling everything from the shadows is the true path to real power. True intelligence does not need to be expressed outwardly to be recognized. Those who possess such intelligence understand that their greatest strength comes not from seeking attention, but from the ability to observe and wait for the right moment to act. When everything around is chaotic and busy, they know that silence is the most powerful weapon. In silence, they can see everything clearly, gather information, and calculate their next steps accurately, something others may overlook or fail to notice in the rush. They do not engage in meaningless struggles or unnecessary debates. They know that their excellence will assert itself when the time comes. Rather than having to prove their talents, they choose to remain silent, like a cloak that hides their greatness, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true power. It is in this silence that the genius can control the game from the shadows, a power that no one can foresee. When you possess true intellect, you understand that silence is not just the absence of sound, but the most powerful presence of inner strength. Silence allows you to maintain control without needing to engage in battles beyond your reach. The silence of true genius is the secret weapon that helps them retain power and influence without having to make a noise. Only those who truly understand the power of silence can maintain a firm position without being affected by external factors. The concept of vanishing here is not about running away or giving up, but rather a subtle strategy that helps you separate yourself from meaningless situations and unnecessary battles. Sometimes, in life, not every argument or conflict is worth participating in. These confrontations can drain your energy, cause stress, and affect your spirit without offering any real benefit. Vanishing in this context means stepping away from unnecessary situations, maintaining your calm, and preserving your energy for more important matters. When done strategically, vanishing is the best way to protect yourself. When you engage in pointless arguments, you not only get caught up in the chaos, but may also lose respect for yourself and those around you. Instead of letting these situations control your emotions, you choose to separate yourself and remain silent. This is not weakness or avoidance of responsibility, but a deliberate choice to maintain your psychological safety and energy. Silence and separation can be the most powerful defensive tools because they allow you to protect yourself without having to fight. When you know when to retreat, when to remain silent, and when not to engage in unnecessary battles, you not only conserve your energy, but also retain your power. Participating in every argument is not only unnecessary, but can sometimes weaken you, causing you to lose control and initiative. Just like in military strategy, a smart army does not always engage in direct confrontation with the enemy, but knows when to fall back to regroup and prepare for a stronger attack later. Vanishing, in this case, is not surrender but preparation for the right moment. You do not need to engage in every battle. Sometimes, staying silent and maintaining distance is the best way to protect your existence and retain your power without having to reveal yourself or participate in battles that are not beneficial. When you distance yourself from conflicts, you maintain serenity, not getting caught up in unnecessary disputes, and from there, you can continue to hold your position without sacrificing yourself. It is in moments like these that you will realize that not engaging in every battle is a wise choice, allowing you to protect your energy and freedom while still maintaining control over the situation. There is a paradox that many fail to recognize. True strength is not found in those who are loud, but in those who know how to disappear into silence. This silence can become the most powerful weapon in our inner battles. When you do not need to argue or display yourself, you can maintain your respect and power without doing anything at all. This silence is not a lack of ability, but rather the wisdom of not letting external emotions and conflicts disrupt your peace of mind. Schopenhauer pointed out that presence does not equal power. In fact, true power comes from not showing up when it is unnecessary. A person with strategic intelligence understands that absence can be more powerful than any intense emotion. You do not always need to react or participate in every debate. Silence, when employed intentionally, is the most powerful form of influence. When you master silence, you no longer need approval from anyone. You allow others to make assumptions about you, but you never give them the opportunity to control you. You do not seek attention. Instead, you become someone others turn to when they need help, understanding, or simply your presence. This silence is not about avoidance or hiding, but about choosing the right place to shine. An awakened person is like a force of nature. They do not need to destroy everything around them, yet their power cannot be stopped. They do not attack, but they also cannot be controlled. Their absence, their silence, is the strongest expression of inner power, a force that can make everything change without uttering a word. And the final message we need to remember is, when you are silent, it's not that you are hiding, you have simply chosen the right place to shine. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment. I choose silence as my power. Don't forget to subscribe to continue exploring strategies, power, and profound psychological insights.